There's a certain type of person who's dangerously close to winning, not because they lack talent, but because the moment real work begins, their body goes offline. You can picture success in painful detail: the money, the freedom, the respect. Sometimes it feels so real you almost forget it hasn't happened yet. And then you try to start, and something invisible hits the brakes like a wall. Here's the thing nobody actually says out loud. For a lot of lazy but ambitious people, laziness is just the cover story. The real reason runs deeper, and once you see it, you genuinely can't unsee it. Let me paint a picture of what your life probably looks like right now. You wake up with good intentions. Today's the day you finally start. Today you're going to work on that project. Today you're going to take the first real step. But then you check your phone, just for a minute. That minute turns into an hour. And before you've even fully woken up, half the morning is already gone. You tell yourself you'll start after lunch. Lunch comes and goes. Now you're tired. Now you're not in the right headspace. You'll start tomorrow when you actually have energy. And the cycle repeats. At night, you lie in bed feeling guilty, disappointed in yourself, knowing you wasted another day. You make promises, real ones, that tomorrow will be different. You feel a flicker of motivation. You make plans in your head, but when tomorrow actually comes, that feeling is just gone, and you're back to scrolling, back to avoiding, back to doing literally anything except the thing you know you should be doing. In this video, I'm going to show you the real psychology behind this, the two hidden forces keeping ambitious people stuck, and the small system that rewires your brain without needing to rely on motivation. Here's what's actually happening inside you. There's a war going on. One part of you is ambitious. It dreams big. It sets goals. It wants a life that actually means something. But another part of you just wants to be comfortable. And comfort doesn't care about your future. Comfort only cares about right now. Right now, comfort is winning because your brain is literally wired to avoid pain. When you think about your goal, your brain doesn't see freedom. It sees effort. It sees uncertainty. It sees the very real possibility of failure. And your brain hates all of that. So it offers you something faster: scrolling, videos, games, anything that feels good right now and makes the discomfort disappear. That quick hit of relief floods your brain with dopamine, and your brain picks up a dangerous lesson. Avoiding your goal makes you feel better, so it keeps pushing you to avoid. But here's where it gets interesting, because the deeper reason you freeze isn't what most people assume. It usually comes down to one of two paths. The first path: some ambitious people aren't lazy. They're overstimulated. Their brain has been trained slowly, quietly, by constant, easy rewards. Short-term pleasure has started to feel safer than long-term effort. Every time you dodge your goal and reach for comfort instead, you get relief, distraction, a moment of escape, and your brain files that away. Avoidance becomes a habit, then a reflex, then just who you are. But the second path is darker. Perfectionism isn't about excellence. Perfectionism is fear in a tailored suit, because if you never start, you never fail. And if you never fail, you never have to face the possibility that you might not be as special as the version of yourself you've been dreaming about. That's why you plan forever, research forever, consume content forever, because learning feels like progress while very quietly protecting you from the risk of actually trying. Here's the truth, and it's uncomfortable. Failure isn't the opposite of success. Inaction is. When you fail, you get feedback. When you do nothing, you get nothing, except more self-doubt quietly stacking up. And the longer you stay stuck, the heavier it gets. Not because you're weak, but because your brain starts building an identity around the pattern. I'm the kind of person who never follows through. And that identity, it becomes a cage. So how do you break out? Not with motivation. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come, feelings go. You cannot build a life on something that's unreliable. You need something stronger: structure, systems, Discipline built one small decision at a time. If you're ambitious and stuck, your problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. Your problem is starting. So don't start big. Start embarrassingly small. 15 minutes, one paragraph, one page. Not to impress anyone, but to prove something to your own brain. We move even when we don't feel like it. Because every single time you take action in the face of resistance, you're doing something real. You're teaching your brain that discomfort isn't danger. And you have to stop treating this like a willpower problem, because it almost never is. It's a design problem. If your phone is sitting next to you, you're going to pick it up. If your workspace is a mess, your thinking will be a mess. If distractions are everywhere, you will get distracted. So make distraction expensive. Turn off notifications. Put your phone in another room. Clear your desk. Close the tabs you don't need. Pick one specific time every day for focused work, and protect that time like it's the most important meeting of your life. Every distraction you eliminate is one decision you no longer have to fight yourself over. And every decision you remove is energy you can finally put toward what actually matters. Now, here's something you probably don't want to hear. You need to stop consuming so much content. You're watching videos about success, reading articles about productivity, listening to podcasts about motivation, and it all feels productive, doesn't it? But a lot of the time, and I mean a lot, it's just a more sophisticated form of avoidance. Your brain has convinced you that learning and doing are the same thing. They're not. You don't need more information. You already know what you need to do. What you need is to stop learning and start executing. And yes, your first attempt is going to be rough. Probably pretty bad, honestly. That's completely normal. Every expert alive was once a beginner. Every masterpiece in history started as a rough, ugly draft. Right now, you're not trying to be great. You're trying to show up. You're trying to build the identity of someone who actually does things. Quality comes later. Consistency comes first. When you start taking action, you're going to feel resistance. You'll want to stop. You'll have days where you slide back into the old patterns. That's fine. Progress isn't a straight line. Not for anyone. People who actually succeed aren't people who never fall. They're people who don't let one bad day drag into a bad week. They don't let one mistake become a reason to quit. They acknowledge the slip and they come back. That's the real secret. That's all it is. One more thing. Stop beating yourself up. Guilt doesn't push you forward. Shame doesn't make you better. Every night you lie in bed hating yourself for another wasted day, you're actually feeding the same cycle that got you stuck. Practice self-compassion, but not the kind that lets you stay exactly where you are. The kind that gives you permission to try again. Talk to yourself the way you'd talk to someone you actually care about. You messed up today. Okay? Tomorrow is a new day. Do one thing right now. Forgiveness isn't letting yourself off the hook. It's releasing the weight of past failures so you can actually move. Here's what I need you to hold on to. You are not lazy. Lazy is not who you are. Lazy is what you've been doing. And those are very different things. Who you are is someone with real ambition, real potential, and a genuine ability to change. What you've been doing is protecting yourself from discomfort because your brain hasn't fully learned yet that discomfort is where growth actually lives. Now you understand the psychology behind the pattern, and understanding it is the first real step toward changing it. Ambition without action is just a fantasy. Wishing harder will not build the life you want. But action without self-compassion won't last either. You need the discipline to move even when you don't feel like it, and the compassion to forgive yourself when you fall short. That combination, that's what creates real, lasting change. So here's what I want you to do. When this ends, don't go look for another video about how to change. Do one small thing, right now. 15 minutes. That single action sends your brain one clear signal. I'm serious this time. And if you take one more small step tomorrow, momentum starts building. Before long, you won't recognize the person you used to be. You've spent so much time imagining the life you want. It's time to start building it. Not someday, not when you feel ready. Now, one day at a time, one decision at a time, one small action at a time. That is how lives actually change. That is how dreams stop being dreams. And if this hit a little too close to home, you're not alone. Subscribe because the next video might explain another pattern you thought was just you. And if someone came to mind while you were watching, send it to them. Sometimes feeling understood is the thing that finally makes you dangerous in the best possible way.